This is a Craig Brown LHC-X V2. These were made, I want to say, in 2023. It's a version 2 of the original LHC-X. And I could be wrong, but I think one of the main differences is the original had carbon fiber extending all the way down, whereas the version 2 has this really neat, in this case, kind of like a diamond pattern milled into the titanium there. Gives it a really nice look. I mean, when you bring it up to the screen there. Anyway, Craig Brown, if you guys don't know, is a custom knife maker he's a CNC, out of Blaine, Washington. And he's got quite a few different models. He's got he's got the original LHC-X, he's got the Mini FSD, he's got the Cortex, he's got the Cortex XL, he's got the FSD, the FSDI. I mean, there's got to be at least half a dozen, if not more, different models that he's come up with, and they're highly sought after. Every time he does a drop, it sells out in seconds. Secondary pricing is very strong with Craig's knives, and it's one of those things where when you see a really attractive one pop up, you better jump on it because someone else will if you think on it too long. This particular one here has silver, kind of like a silver, and then it goes to purple carbon fiber, fat carbon, with purple anodized hardware. Really, really, really cool. I haven't seen too many of these in this configuration. If you go over to Craig's website, he actually has a history of all his knives. Every single knife that he makes, he takes a photo of it, he's numbered it, and it's documented on his website. So you can go back and view it at a later time. But there's only like 4 or 5 in a similar configuration to this. So this one's very unique. Just like all his knives, to be quite honest, though. There's never a time to where he makes 100 of the exact same spec, same configuration. He does 2 or 3 of the same and then moves on to something else, or if it's a custom order, you're able to choose. Typically that client will pick something for themselves, and then it's unique, only one's made. But yeah, the blade on this thing has a mirrored stonewash finish, so you can kind of see a reflection, but it's not clear, if that makes sense. Like when you if you were to put your face in here, you could see your face, but it would be fuzzy. Really a great finish for everyday carry. It hides scratches really well because of the finish. How's it feel in the hand? Zoom out a little bit here. It feels really nice in the hand. I have small, medium hands, and as you can see, I get a full grip on that, no problem. The jimping on it up here is really nice. Even with slightly sweaty hands, it's able to, stop my thumb from going forward, so that's nice. Action on it, nice. It falls shut in a controlled manner, especially if you kind of help it a bit by not, shaking it down. Flicks open great. It's on it's on bearings, but very controlled, very nice. And again, this guy's flipper only, so that's the only method of deployment. Here again, if you go to Craig's website, you'll see his other offerings. He's got some knives where honestly it's like the Cortex XL and the Mini FSDI. You've got like 3 or 4, even 5 if you want to get weird with it, different deployment methods. You could front flip, spidey flick, thumb flick. Then you'll have ones where you can even flick almost like a traditional flipper, but it's not, right? Like it's kind of round. it's interesting. You can look up reviews. It's meant to be used with your thumb, but you can still use it with your index finger. And then he's got it to where you can also, kind of do one of the traditional front flipper action as well. So really, a knife that's designed for 3 deployment methods, he's got it to where you could technically do 4 or 5. Circling around to this, the machining on this thing's excellent. I mean, everything is just done to perfection. You can't see it, or maybe you can if I try a little bit here. But there's some nice touches. So inside there, it says Blaine, Washington, USA, and then LHC V2. And then, yep, that's it. So just little touches like that. A lot of makers don't do that. Even makers that cost more money than this. So price, you're looking at $850 table for this, and secondary pricing will hang out in or around there. Potentially a bit less these days. We're kind of in a down market with knives and summertime and all that. So if you're to sell it now, it'd probably be less. But Craig's got a very strong resellers market. Let's see what else. Now, blade length. You're looking at about 3 1/4 cutting edge there. And then if I pull out a couple of comparison knives for you guys, here's a Strider PT. And then here is a Chris Reeve large Sabenza. So quite a bit smaller and as a given from the PT, and then similar in length, grip wise, to the Chris Reeve, but comes up a bit short, right? Like there, and then it comes up to there on the Chris Reeve. And then the blade itself, if we were to measure that out against the Chris Reeve, similar, but then here again, there's a little bit, a little bit more length to the Chris Reeve. But nearly a full-size knife, the Craig, the LHC, but ever so slightly smaller than the Chris Reeve lengthwise, and then most certainly grip-wise. You can see here the girth is much bigger on the Chris Reeve Sabenza when compared to this. Weight-wise, it does not weigh that much, and it feels really nice. So when you have it fully deployed here, it's super lightweight. Like, you're not going to notice it, and it carries really well too. When you have it folded up, this is not a weight that would be annoying to have in your pocket. Let's turn this guy on. So call it 3.25 ounces, if you want to round up a little bit. So extremely lightweight, especially given its size. As I just showed you, it's nearly a full-size knife. But for its weight, it's excellent. And yeah, so it's one of those things where, you want to get yourself into kind of the more custom world. Craig Brown would be it. He uses CNC to do his knives, so they're more, I guess you could say, machine assisted customs. But one-man operation nonetheless. And here again, if it is something that you want, just make sure to sign up for his newsletter. He is working on a new knife right now. I think it's the Cortex Mini, something like that. Anyway, he's working on something else. It's going to be a bit smaller. But other than that, he's not releasing any knives necessarily. So everything that you see or hear about from him would have to be picked up on the secondary. And, to do that, you have to be pretty vigilant, because here again, super sought after, and everyone is kind of on the hunt and will keep their eyes open. But yeah, gives you a light overview of this knife here. I'll turn it around to the other side. And yeah, overall, I have a couple of his knives. They're always really nice in the finishing and the details. And he replies quickly to your emails too. So, it's nice that way too when you can get a hold of a maker and chat him about his knives, or if there's an issue, you can get a hold of him and he can help. All right, thanks.